Well, good evening, and welcome again to another evening, Thursday night, Thursday, the 12th of March, 2026. Let me just take this out here. I'm just doing my TikTok as well at the same time. And I hope everybody's okay. Well, as I normally say, every Thursday night, there's always something new. There's always something interesting, somewhere, something exciting, which is happening around the world. And before I go any further, I want to say welcome and good evening. And I got my guest tonight, which is Gary, who is back from the land of the special land. And I got Aaron as well. And without further ado, of course, some of the top things is going to be about the war. We want to talk about a bit of the latest developments regarding the war, and also Keir Starmer, Peter Mandelson, and also the very interesting thing about what should I say, the interest rates, will it go up or not? And secondly, the campaign. Of course, I got to speak about the campaign. Last night I had a great hustings as well in the Hill, and we had some candidates who are contesting in the mayoral election for Lewisham. And guess what? The present candidate for Labour was being in the council for 55,000 years minus one, did not turn up, so they had a chair for her as well, which is very unfortunate, because I believe that if you are representing the people, you should be very keen, and if you're not even able to attend, let someone attend as well. So without further ado, let me just start the show and get the ball rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to Gary. Where's your background there? And Aaron, how you doing?
Yeah, good as ever, Zolvan. Good as ever.
Yes. Gary, how you doing, Gary, as well? Yeah,
Good.
Yeah, you had a very funky background there, Gary. And now the funky background is gone. Is it that you have left New York or where you were? And
Yes, I've left New York.
you left New York. Well, good evening. I mean, Gary, you weren't here last week because you had some little technical hiccups there. Aaron is here as well, and I felt that even though my schedule is very busy, but I believe that it's very important to have having these shows here as well, showing a level of continuity. But let me just say hi to persons who are on the side there. There's Belinda. Good evening. And there's Hugh Focus. It's great to see promising young people on the show. Hey, guess what? I'm promising young. Oh, sorry, it's not me. It's you, Aaron. Oh, sorry, it's Gary. Gary, you're the promising young person on the show. Who is it? Is it Gary or is it you? Who's a promising young person? You know,
I think that one might be aimed at me, guys.
That one is it. Okay, claim it. Then, Aaron, claim it. You just have to claim it as well. You know. But anyway. Last week we spoke about the war, and it's very interesting about this war, because you remember when Putin said it's going to last for 3-4 days or a couple of weeks, and it is still happening now. Do you believe this war will last for the days that Trump said it's going to last? Because I think he recently said it's going to be finishing soon, in order to sort of calm the waters in respect of the what should I say, the gas prices, which went to 100. Some are saying it's going to go to 200 or so. But do you see an ending in sight? Let's go for you, Gary. Do you see an ending in sight, Gary, in this war going on in the Middle East? Or it's an end game?
But let me first say hi to Belinda. And to my friends.
Yes.
They haven't been on for the past 2 weeks, I don't think.
Yes.
Some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
I just think that the it's not up to Trump, isn't it? Is it? I mean, the the war has these conflicts have a life of their own. You can start them, but once it gets going, you can't really control that, can you? And even though
Yeah.
Trump says that it's going to be a matter of days or it could be a couple of weeks, obviously, um, if there's a sort of calm in and around Tehran
Yeah.
and Iran on a whole, there will be little pockets of resistance, I believe, that's very hard to kind of control. It's like what they did in Iraq, even though the war finished, but yet there were certain aspects of Iraq that they couldn't really control. Even now, there are little sporadic um, fightings there. So Trump, Trump, Trump talks a lot. I think Trump talks a lot. And if you remember, just before the war started, I
Yeah.
did say to you, don't listen to what Trump says, what he does, because even though they were very much in talks, negotiation with Gerard and with is it Witkoff? Yes, he he started the fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not up to Trump. It's not up to Trump. I think it will go on for a few more weeks or even probably another month. But who is to say? Who is to say?
Yeah. Yeah. What's your take on that, Aaron?
Well, I agree with Gary. I think although the US have taken a lot of Iran's capabilities out, I think that what will happen is that this is going to now be a long war. And let's not forget that Iran has very good drone capabilities. So the ships that are coming into the Strait of Hormuz, they are going to be, they're going to be taken out. So I think it's going to be quite a long war.
So what we're saying is that, as Gary said, we can't listen to what Trump said, what he does, but at the same time, is it that Trump is being very strategic in the sense of pushing the fool a bit further? I mean, to say, don't tell them what you want, what you're going to do. The element of surprise, if anything, as well. And what are the people of Iran? What are people in Iran saying other than the radicalists? Are the people rising up, as Trump had said, let's go and take over your country? Well, that doesn't seem to happening because it seems like the Iranians have their people under still a level of lockdown as well. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add to that, I agree, Silban, and I think what the US set out to achieve in regime change is not going to happen. And as I say, I think it's going to be a long war now. And what I worry about is the effect on the oil prices for people across Britain, consequently, because of these actions, really.
Yeah. Gary, yeah.
Yeah, I do believe, even though they've shown pictures of support for the new Ayatollah, the son of the previous one. But I think that is being done in duress. I'm not saying that probably there aren't supporters. There may be many supporters based on the population that they have. But I think at the same time, with the IRGC still running around in Tehran as well as in Iran, I think that they can't just get up and say that they want regime change, because as it happened before the war started, before the fighting, the bombing, and all that started,
Yeah.
the IRGC were killing the citizens. So they have to be careful. They have to play. Plus, in addition to them rising up, as Trump wants them to rise up and and topple the government, you have to remember that Israel is still bombing Tehran. Israel and the United States are still bombing the cities and in particular places. So I think just as many of the political commentators that are that's watching the scenery there, they are saying that they're afraid to go out because they could be bombed because Israel is still bombing Tehran. The Americans are still bombing Tehran. So they need to be very careful of where they go. So I think it's very dicey of what really happened. I can understand if Trump has always said that he is not putting American boots on the ground. Well, it seems that may be changing because one of the senators in the United States that's watching the situation and even listening more closely to what may be said, which we are not hearing on this side of the pond, is that it looks like the administration is getting very close to be putting boots on the ground, and that's not what they want. Once the Americans go in, then it could be a completely different scenario that we'll be watching. So, we don't really know what's going on as such. We're not really, even though we're watching it in real time on Al Jazeera or on BBC or on CNN if we are able to do that. But really, we are missing some very vital information so as to really properly give a proper assessment. We really don't know what's happening out there, In as much as what we're seeing, we really don't know what's taking place. So, we have to wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah. Boots on grounds. Is boots on grounds something which is very effective these last days? What is boots on grounds going to do? I mean, I thought everything is now like with Scud missiles and going in and out. Boots on ground, how effective is that? I mean, nobody's doing boots on grounds anymore as well. I mean, I know Starmer was talking about, and they were alluding to, what do you call it? Conscription. They were talking about conscription for a while, preparing persons ready to go into Ukraine as well. But boots on ground in a place like Iran, that's a very treacherous thing because I understand Iran is not the same as Iraq. Iran is really hill and gully all over the place. They've been building these things for years, totally underground. So it's like a long war out. I mean, Aaron, boots on ground.
I think if we see any boots on the ground, they'll be in the form of a special operation, much like with the Venezuelan leader. I believe that they will specifically target Mujtaba Khamenei, and they will, in some form of special operation, try and neutralize him. And I think the Americans will just keep trying to neutralize as many senior Iranians as possible until they get someone they like they can do business with. Trump is a businessman at the end of the day, and he wants to do business with people that share his view to a degree. So that's what I think will happen if we see any boots on ground. What I worry about, though, is the British position in this, where we will already we're involved in defensive capabilities to try and protect the shipping lane, and I think I worry about what the next escalation might be on that.
Yeah, because one of the things is that UK troops at Iraq base shut down Iranian drones. That's what the defense secretary has said. Can we say that the UK is now immersed into this whole thing? UK sort of pulled back before and said they are not gonna be giving the green light to Trump, and Trump is saying, I don't want those ships or whatever you're gonna send me. And you can see at the dispatch box they're still having that issue there, where Starmer is saying that's Kemi has changed her mind, is saying that Reform has changed his mind, which is Farage as well, because everybody still has a strong memory of WMD with Iraq and don't want to commit themselves to that because this thing can go on for a long time. So the question is the UK fully immersed in this conflict? Is it a war or what? Is the UK fully immersed in this conflict? Ladies and gentlemen, I can ask that question for those on the sideline, those on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, and also Instagram. Would you say the UK is fully immersed in this conflict? What do you guys say?
Well, from my perspective, I think we're becoming fully immersed, but we're not at the moment fully immersed. I think oil's the key, really. I think if the strait gets blocked and we can't get and trade subsequently is stopped, and I think we will be part of almost like a world task force to try and keep that strait open so that the ships can. I mean, you guys remember the Evergreen crisis when the Strait of Hormuz got blocked for several days. If this conflict draws on, this is going to be weeks, if not months, of potential. We're talking billions of pounds of trade lost, really. So I think that we are becoming fully immersed. I don't think we're there yet, but I think we are very close to an escalation whereby we will be directly involved if we're not already.
Yeah. But what he says that some drones in the attack hit the coalition base in the Iraqi city of Erbil, capital of the Kurdistan region, injured a number of U.S. troops there. That we're talking about the drone attack. Brigadier said that base and another in Iraq capital of Baghdad were struck a number of times. U.S.-Israel strike on Iran. U.S. bases in Iraq have been targeted in retaliation. British forces shot down 2 UAVs unmanned aerial vehicles coming out of the camp, but a number of UAV did impact the camp. I would say it seemed like while it's a defensive thing, one would say that the UK is somewhat stepping into deep waters, whether we like it or not. Yeah.
Well, from the very moment that that Trump made the decision to go in, they were going into deep waters. I just think at the same time that is why I believe Trump is going in hard, and he's going in harder, because he doesn't want to become entrenched. I think that's my understanding. That's what I believe. He's not going in like how the United States have gone into other areas in the recent past. Again with Iraq and probably even Afghanistan. He's going in hard. He's hitting hard. So to hit them, destroy what they can. At least Israel is making sure that the infrastructure is being destroyed. That is Israel's
priority.
Plan.
Yes.
They are hitting the infrastructure.
It's very interesting about
and like US is hitting the military hardware.
Yes.
So therefore, I believe also that the UK has not wanted to go in, which I think again I can understand Starmer, but Starmer is only trying to play it safe. He is damaged goods already. Starmer is damaged. So therefore, he doesn't want to make himself look any worse than he is. However, he's done it already. He's done it because he's shown weakness. And on the world stage, he's not really helping himself. The UK will become embroiled because they're making steps now to go in. There's a warship going. There are planes flying. You can't have that amount of planes going up in the air from certain air bases and say you're not doing anything. You're going to become embroiled. I will agree with what Aaron is saying. They will become embroiled.
Okay.
And so therefore we're going to be affected. some stage or the other.
Okay, well, listen to this then. As someone said, David Michael, the UK is adhering to international law and defending its interests and defending its allies. The UK's international law. I mean, where's international law in a sense when it comes on to Ukraine and with Russia? Where's international law when it comes on to all these different issues happening in Sudan and all these places? Is international law somewhat a sort of relic of the past? Is it really effective, Aaron? I mean, we're not as effective lawyers here, but
that's a really good question. I think international law is very subjective in terms of what I perceive to be international law. Somebody else might perceive the same thing in a completely different light. But I agree that the kind of post-war consensus of what a nation should be doing versus what nations are actually doing has it has had its heyday, really. I think that now we are in a world where okay, the UN says the UN makes a resolution saying that you can't do something, a country's just going to do it anyway. So even if you get these decisions, what do they mean? So it's interesting. I think it will be interesting to see how certain situations develop, and I'm particularly keeping an eye on the European Convention on Human Rights and Britain's position to this. But I'd be interested to hear what you guys think as well.
Belinda said, Trump looking for a company the UK should keep out of this war. Can the UK keep out of this conflict? Let's put it this way. Can the UK keep out of this conflict? I think, Gary, you said it before, but I'm just putting it again out there. Can the UK keep out of this conflict?
Well, I think again, if I may say, that this is you can't look at this and just think of it separate and apart of everything that's happened in history. England is very much embroiled in the situation of Iran as it is today. And I mean, you'd have to go back to 1979, and you'd have to go back even beyond that, because the colonial powers have always been involved, and so England has to step in. Yes. England cannot stay out. There's no way England there's no way England can remove itself. I understand what Belinda has said here. Trump's looking for company the UK should keep out of this war. But what wars anywhere in this world can England not say that they have not had a part, or they've not had something to do with? Because things that happen in various areas of our globe, you can't look on it in isolation. It's historic. All of these things are historic, and so if England stays out, I think it will be detrimental to us. Why again? Because oil is involved. Even though the UK is an oil producing country, yes, but we do not supply enough oil. If we were to say, okay, let them fight it out down there, and we will try and do what we can do here and survive on our own oil. That's impossible, because we don't produce the amount of oil that's necessary to run and to service this country alone. We just don't have it. So in order to keep the air, in order to keep the UK economy afloat and to keep the constituents happy, whether it be Conservative or Labour, they have to get involved with what's happening down there, because England depends on that oil.
Well, can we say then that Keir Starmer, I don't know. Let's look at Prime Minister's question time briefly, with Keir Starmer and Kemi at the dispatch box. Let's see if we can just listen to something.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Why does the Prime Minister think now is the right time to increase the cost of petrol?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we're not increasing the cost of petrol. We're absolutely clear in taking the measures that are necessary to deal with the impact of the conflict in Iran. We're dealing with that with other allies. We're taking the necessary action. But the best thing that we can do, Mr. Speaker, is to work with others to de-escalate the situation. And Mr. Speaker, as I said to the House last week, I took the decision that we should not join the initial US-Israeli offensive against Iran. The leader of the opposition attacked me for that decision relentlessly. She said that the UK should have joined the US and Israel in the initial offensive strikes. Mr. Speaker, then yesterday, in the wake of the economic consequences, the leader of the opposition totally abandoned her position. She told the BBC, I never said we should join. She told the BBC, I haven't said we should have gone in with the United States. That is the mother of all U-turns on the single most important decision a Prime Minister ever has to take, whether to go in the United Kingdom to war or not.
Okay, let's unpick that a bit there. Whether we like it or not, the UK is impacted. If you heard what he said, firstly, there's an impact upon the UK regarding this war, and one is staying on the sidelines as much as possible. And we remember the whole Tony Blair bit with WMD, and the UK is very unforgiving in that area, not trying to go down this particular route again. But at the same time, we are seeing a situation where it's going to have direct repercussion upon the UK. Nobody's actually a good friend of the Ayatollah Khamenei. As a matter of fact, words are even said that the son is not even alive or not even able to be around. The son is just, that's why they're showing pictures. I don't know. I just throw that one out, Aaron, if you want to pick up on that bit there.
Yeah, I think it's important to recognize that the initial decision was to let the US use our joint air bases to launch tactical strikes on Iran. And our position, or the position Starmer took, was that this we're not going to go along with this. Whether or not that was the right decision at the time, it's probably one for the history books. It's quite a controversial decision. Obviously, things have escalated since then. But I noticed again, he doesn't actually answer the question about the fuel increase, because at the moment there's the 5% fuel duty that the Chancellor's put forwards on fuel, with oil prices where they are as well. That's going to cripple, families up and down the country who go to the pumps looking to fill up. So I think I think he's very good at deflecting, and he's not actually answering the question, which is something that we've talked about as a weakness of Keir's previously. So that's what I would put forwards.
Gary, what's your input there before we switch the topic?
No, you go ahead, because I think I would go along with what Aaron has said. Yeah, I think though that I think in one way that Keir again is clutching at straws here. But anyway, I won't go any further.
All right, let's hear what the other bits about Kemi coming back. Kemi come back and say.
Every day,
Mr. Speaker, I think the mother of all U-turns is him saying that they're not increasing fuel duty. That is news to us because last week the Chancellor stood up and said the fuel duty was going to increase in September. The Prime Minister told us at the start of the year that the cost of living was his #1 priority. So can he explain how a rise in fuel duty helps with the cost of living?
Mr. Speaker, fuel duty is frozen. It's going to remain frozen until September, and we will keep the situation under review in light of what's happening in Iran. But, Mr. Speaker, the most important issue is de-escalating the situation. And I come back to the Leader of the Opposition's position because this is one of the most important decisions a Prime Minister or Leader of the Opposition ever has to take, whether to commit your country to war. The day after the initial US-Israeli strike started, her shadow foreign secretary said that the US-Israeli initial attacks were absolutely right, and it is a position my party supports. She said, why has the Prime Minister not actually worked with America to be much more proactive? Last Wednesday, Leader of the Opposition. We are in this war whether we like it or not. What is the Prime Minister waiting for? Then yesterday she says, I never said, I know they don't want to hear it. I know they don't. I wouldn't want to hear it if I were them. After all that.
Can I stop you there for a second? Is it Prime Minister's question time or Keir Starmer opportunity to rub a particular point? He hasn't answered the opposition question up to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he hasn't even answered anything of for the whole question, Prime Minister's question. He hasn't asked anything. He's always been on the defensive. He doesn't answer questions.
Yes.
And something I've noticed is he deflects and then kind of has these quite long, lengthy speeches on something completely different or somewhat related to the actual point that's being raised. So what was raised was your Chancellor said in the spring statement that this is going to happen, and he it's almost like he invents his position as he stands in terms of oh no, this isn't going to happen, but you know, someone says one thing and another one says another.
Yeah, but I think the Speaker did something though. I think the Speaker did something. Let's see if this is a point where the Speaker came in.
She says, "Order, order." Enough is enough. I can't hear it. Who wants to lead the first ones out? Right, we'll have a little bit more silence, Prime Minister.
So after 9 days of saying, join the war, join the war, join the war, yesterday she says, I never said we should join. I haven't said we should go in with the US. I'll tell you what's happened, Mr. Speaker. She and the Reform leader have been spooked because they realise they've jumped into supporting a war without thinking through the consequences. And now she's furiously trying to backpedal.
The Prime Minister seems to be asking last week's questions. This week, I'm asking about fuel duty. He has said that he wants to help. Mr. Speaker, he has said that he wants to help with the cost of living. My constituents live in a rural area. They rely on their cars to get to the shops, take their kids to school, see their elderly parents. And they tell me the rising cost of petrol is the single biggest cost affecting family finances. So does the Prime Minister not understand how important cars are to people in rural areas, or does he just not care?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we're working across all departments and with allies.
Anyhow, let's leave that there because it's the same as every week. Starmer doesn't answer questions as well as much as possible, so we can leave that there. It is very clear there that the latest thing, and I just want to switch right onto, because this takes us straight onto Mandelson bit. And I don't know if you guys have been following. There have been some latest breaking through. What can you share on that bit about Mandelson and Keir Starmer, Aaron?
Well, to my knowledge, Peter Mandelson obviously has been embroiled in the Epstein files, and obviously he left his position as US ambassador, and he asked, or his team requested, for a £550,000 payout, which I think is abhorrent for although he had the right to do it. I think it's an absolute disgrace that that he could even put in a request for that much. Anyway, they've settled for 75, but I am of the belief that he should give that all to charity, really, because I think it's an absolute deplorable use of public funds, and I can see how it's happened. But when we think about what that money could be spent on, there aren't any words, really, Sylvan, from my side, really.
Well, someone said that the Prime Minister, Keir Mandelson deserved it. He deserved the money, as in any persons who have been sacked or dismissed from a contractual thing. He deserves money, isn't it, Gary? He has not been found guilty of anything, is he? He's not guilty. He's not been tried.
I heard somebody say yesterday that he's going to get his money, because if he told the truth, the thing about, if he told them the truth, then who is the liar really? It's Starmer, because Starmer is always given the impression that he didn't know. Yet it comes out in the papers that he was told, and he was even told that it could affect his credibility. He's got a credibility risk. That is what Starmer was told. Yet he stood before the nation and told the nation that he did not know anything, as if he was not told the truth. Starmer is the one that is not telling the truth. Now, okay, fine. Mandelson may have, been doing things that he shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Mandelson, amongst all individuals there, knows that when the government is looking for high-profile individuals for high-profile positions, a thorough investigation of their lives are found out, or So Mandelson knew from the very outset that anything that is of any value, he can't hide. He couldn't hide it from the security services. So he knew, right, that he would be found out.
Yes.
Now, what Mandelson probably should not have done is he should probably not have accepted the position. But what he did do is that he accepted the position that Keir Starmer knew that Mandelson was not fit for. Yet he stood before the nation and said he didn't know Mandelson told a lie. It's Starmer that's got to carry that. And then he comes out with it today. He comes out today apologizing. Somebody, I saw somebody wrote and said that he shouldn't be apologizing. He should be resigning. That's what he should be doing, because Starmer doesn't have any credibility.
Yeah, but listen, Sir Starmer said, as he rightly said a while ago, he made a mistake in making Lord Mandelson U.S. ambassador, as Downing Street denied claims of a cover-up in his release of documents relating to the appointment. And what he's saying now, the Prime Minister is facing fresh questions about his judgment again in giving the pair the high-profile role in Washington, right? Files released on Wednesday show that the PM was warned the appointment posed a reputational risk. So, Aaron, I think, and ladies and gentlemen, I think what this is actually saying is that Mandelson declared his hands, and the Prime Minister then ignore whatever it is, or they believe in due diligence. That's why they said they did their due diligence. Amanda said he's not guilty of anything. He's gonna get his money. He's gonna get some lawyers to get his money unless he goes to court.
Yeah.
Well, he might. Sadly, I agree. I think he will get his money unchallenged. Whether or not it's right for him to do so might be another question. I think he himself would have to look into what conscience he has. I think you're right on the bigger point about Starmer's judgment in terms of this being another issue where we see Starmer's made an error of judgment, and okay, he may have admitted it now, but I wonder how many chances or how many times we hear the I made a mistake line, especially in the days and weeks to come, because this is only the first batch of the files that we might uncover, more as files get released in future. So I think Starmer's in a very precarious position, and I think that it'll be interesting to see how this develops going forwards.
What I was thinking about is as well, can he really wait till May, if anything, because it is getting a bit crazy, but we are still in that situation where there's not a good alternative so far. There's nobody who is there that what one can say, but at the same time, do you just settle with the evil that you know? Is that what it is? Settle with the evil that you know? Or, I'm sure in the pool of Labour MPs, there must be persons there that can actually rise up to the ranks as well, because it is very, very clear that Starmer is not fit for purpose. Gary? Yeah. Well, I guess I know your position, Gary, to a certain extent.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's sad that Starmer has put himself in this position.
Yeah.
Because he only has himself to blame. He has only himself to blame. And he knew. How can you be prime minister and not know what's happening? Not know who you're asking to fill a position over the many years. You know how many people of high profile have filled the position of UK ambassador to the US.
Yes.
And he put somebody in there that has not got any credibility here, because he's been sacked twice before, hasn't he? Or it was once before. I can't remember how many times. But yet still, Starmer has seen it fit to place him as US ambassador, as UK ambassador to the UK, to the US. And then this happened with Stein, or whatever his name. No, well, I mean, I think I don't know. Probably, when you think about it, Andy Burnham must be laughing, because probably he's glad he's nowhere near the as an MP.
Yes.
Because look what might have. Yeah. It's sad though.
Well,
I feel sorry for Starmer, but he's called.
If it's sorry for him, okay. Then if it's sorry for him, okay. In a way, these guys are all right. We feel sorry for these guys, but these guys are all right. I mean, they're getting their payoff and everything like that. Empires bloom and vanish under the scorching sun. The desert reminds every footsteps whisper and long forgotten name. As well. But I must say though that one of the things that I'm learning a lot, because it all entwines, the whole thing regarding politics and being up and down, even with this pending election, which is coming up in May the 7th, of which I'm standing for the mayor of Lewisham. And last night we had a hustings, but you're hearing the same issues from the top to the lower level of. I'm looking on Nextdoor and hearing some comments. People are actually saying that colossal waste of money. The clowns are responsible for CPs that nobody wants. People are talking about only PR is the way forward. They don't trust, even somebody said that the mayoral the Labour put out some leaflet in Greenwich and they got voted out. People are losing trust in leaders. Aaron, Gary, people are losing trust in leaders. but yet at the same time they're losing trust in leaders. But at the same time, you still get the leaders in. You still get the people in because people sort of pull back, and then those who are actually very intentional, they get in.
I think that's a really credible point, Sylvan. I think we've seen leaders not behave responsibly in office, and therefore that's why trust, especially in the Western world, of politicians is at an all-time low, really. And I think anyone in politics has to find a way of understanding that and then developing new methods to try and build trust with people.
Yes.
And it's not an easy question, really, because you essentially I think people have felt so let down over several years that this is why reform's so popular, because they see the Greens, because they see these alternatives, and I think a factor of that is just because people have lost trust in the two main parties, really.
Yeah, it is striking to me that people are just at this point in a way. That's why they lean towards reform, is that they say, let's give these guys a bloody nose and just take reform in, and the reform do what they want to, because we have no confidence. And then all of a sudden, I'm not going to say that's what's going to happen with reform, but then all of a sudden things go pear-shaped and go bad, and then you go back into the same cycle. I mean, that's my hosting there last night. You got the Green candidate right next to the guy who's hosting. You got Coyote, who is an independent guy. That's myself. And there's a chair. If you can see, there's a chair to me there. That chair represents the Labour candidate. The mayoral candidate for Lewisham did not bother to turn up. She was invited. Of course, she may have good reasons or whatever. I don't know. But in a sense, this was being known for a while. Well, to her, that I don't understand. But in a council which has been 50 years or so, Labour, and even though she wasn't the mayor, but at the same time, they should really turn up to really show themselves to be accountable under the thumbs of the people. And that is why people are actually disgruntled. And, Labour has a strong chance either way of getting back in. And therefore, they just feel like, hey, we got this in the pocket, Gary. Aaron.
Well, just to add to that, I think it's absolutely deplorable that the Labour candidate could not make time to show up and present themselves at the local hustings. I mean, Lewisham is an area of, we're around 250,000 adults.
Yes.
So it's a big area. I mean, London in general is massive. And the fact that they couldn't make the time to even put forward their case and present their ideas, I think it's beyond words, and I think these factors like this are why people don't have such a low trust in politics, because the politicians don't even turn up. I mean, it's laughable to a degree.
Gary?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you could have a London mayor, we've spoken in aspect of these before, so if you could have a London mayor who is running out the motorists out of London, plus at the same time hindering motorists from coming into London because of the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, and then at the same time you're increasing the ULEZ and all of that stuff, on the motors. But
Yeah.
year after year, whenever you have the election, you're putting the guy back in. And then what happens? Look what happens when you go to your local hustings, right?
Mm.
These guys are they're so brazen that it seems that they're saying to themselves that, listen, we don't need to go out there because the constituency will just vote us back in anyway. They don't care.
Yeah.
Politicians don't care because
As,
to
as,
some extent it
mm.
it's been burnt in their mind. The brand has been burnt in their mind that
Yes.
that the constituencies will, or the constituents will just vote them back in. They don't need to do much. That's
Yes.
why. That's what. Who was it? A male or was it male or female that was supposed to be there?
A lady. Should have been a lady. Should
Okay.
have been a lady. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they just take it for granted. They just take it for granted, and it happens on both sides of the aisle, both conservative as well as Labour, and it could happen also amongst the Reformed. I don't know, or the Liberal Democrats. The point is that politicians, sorry, they don't care anymore. They've reached where they want to get to.
Yeah.
And the constituents.
Yeah. Before we go, let me just play this little clip here.
People first.
I can.
Restoring trust and delivering results for the people of Lewisham, and especially also to be your voice. That's what I am about. Now, I came into this whole aspect of running for Lewisham because I was selected by my fellow peers within the Conservative Party. But why is because I'm a person who is very, what should I say, community oriented. If you walk in Beckenham Place Park or you walk in Forces Memorial Park, you'll see this guy with a phone walking up and down, because I started doing it from 2020 when I said I'm going to actually rebel against shielding, against the whole aspect of isolation, what do you call it, COVID. But the whole purpose of it was because I like the outer space, I like park, and I like green and everything like that. Yeah.
I pointed to the Green Party guy.
But what it did for me was also make one feel a bit free. You get to speak to a lot of people. I ran also previously as in different seats within Catford. So I've been doing it for years. I actually saw a Labour former councillor yesterday, and he said, Sigburn, I can see you. I know it's you, even though you're under the hat. You never give up. That's what he said. You never give up. And I tell you why I never give up, because I believe that Lewisham needs a new turn. Right? And I tell you this. And I said to Jason, who is on my far left, I would like to have a chair for the present mayor candidate for Labour. And I tell you why. Damien got away without being accountable. Brenda got away with this whole aspect of running for Lewisham because...
Sorry. Just for the record, Damien was the former mayor of Lewisham, and he left in 2 years and he went to become an MP in Bristol. And I'm just setting the context for a person who don't know. And when I mentioned Brenda Dakers is the present mayor of Lewisham, but she's not standing again for the election because she's actually been elevated to the peers, to the House of Lords. So therefore, she's also not held accountable. And also, the present mayoral candidate is not even there to be scrutinized. And that's the point I was trying to flag up. Let's watch this.
To Jason, who is on my far left, I would like to have a chair for the present mayor candidate for Labour. And I tell you why. Damien got away without being accountable. Brenda got away from being accountable. My guys were on the back. We were planning to have a hustings and challenging Brenda Dakers. And then we got the news. She gone to the House of Lords. Now, what you're seeing is that Lewisham is not getting a level playing field of accountability over the years. That's what I want to do. I believe that being a mayor, as I was going through the thing. When I do my presentation, I said, the mayor has a strategic lead. The mayor also is an executive position elected by most of the people in Lewisham. Actually, more votes from even the MP East Lewisham, West Lewisham. The mayor actually is that person who is, they call her, or him, the leader of the place. I mean, not the leader of the council, the leader of the place, to speak up for persons within the community. I see the role as a mayor, just like what I've been doing all the while, going around talking to people, hearing what their views are, hearing what their issues are.
Okay, so you see that's one of the issues there which I flagged up. When you really check it out, they do what they want to do. As people would say, one of the things that people say to me all the while, you guys just do what you want to do, and you go in there and you don't do what you said you're going to do. So lots of people are feeling that. Lots of people are saying. So you got to, when you're talking to people, you're going through that first, breaking down these different walls and try to get into their space. Or there's a blockage which has been built over the years. Yeah. Silence.
That is what. No. I mean, it's sad because I think you've stated the truth. People have their ulterior motive. They know what they were going to, what they're getting into, or why they entered politics. They know why they entered politics, and sad to say, I would say I don't have the data, so I'm just firing blindly here. But I would say the majority of those, or the minority of those in politics, is for the constituents. Because a lot of them, backbenchers, or they're dotted all over the Commons there, or in the House of Commons there. But they're never, the vast majority of politicians are never heard of. They never get up to speak, or the cameras are never on them. But yet they do serve their communities well. They do serve their constituents well, but the country never hears of them. So there are a few out there that know why they enter, and when they get to where they want to get to, which is a peerage or a higher office, and when you enter into government, really, there's a big job lined up for you out there, or a good consultancy paid job out there once you leave government. That's what they want. That's what they'd like, and they get their reward. But you'll find very few, still like you, who's out there to represent the community.
Yes.
And just quickly, I think to add to that, seeing is believing, and one of the things that I'm really glad, as I say, and is one of your best traits, is that you're very visible. I think it's that visibility of showing what you're doing and leading through action that is probably going to be the start to. I think if that mindset was adopted across the political spectrum, I think that would be the start of people, having more trust and faith in their politicians. I don't think it's going to change overnight.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that there's a new generation of people who at least understand the problem, because once you understand the problem, then you can come up with unique ideas and solutions to overcome people's hesitance and caution.
And it is very interesting to what you say there, because when I speak to a lot of people and see lots of people online, and they're talking like proportional representation, but how far are we from that again? Are we going to sit back and wait for that to happen? It is felt like people somewhat like their hands are tied. And that's something which I sense. They feel their hands are tied, and I want to sort of connect the dots, if anything, and to unblock the blockages, because people are feeling blocked and unconnected. And one of the most important things is not to somewhat, what should I say, reinvent the wheel, but tap into existing wheel and to modify, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's a nice line. Reinvent the wheel, tap into the wheel, and modify. That's it. That's a policy. Let's vote for Silver then. Yes. And the last word, guys. 10 o'clock.
Not really. I think just on that final point, proportional representation. It's just the change of the system. The key crux of the issue is what politicians can do to restore trust, rather than just changing the system by which we're governed. I don't think. I think there is an argument for system change potentially, but I think what's more pressing and more important is the actions which leaders like yourself take to really build bridges and actually fathom genuine relationships with constituents.
Yes, because you do sense at the same time that persons are willing and they have visions and they got things to do, but somehow they feel like they can't do it in a sense. And it's really to mobilize, I would say, people, mobilize individuals to let them know that they can. I remember sometime talking about Jamaica, for argument's sake, and when people want to do things in Jamaica and they say, oh, they got to go to the High Commission, they got to go to diaspora, and I say, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do all of that. You can connect. People can connect individually. It's like Coyote. Coyote said yesterday, the independent guy, he said, certain things that he wants to do, you don't have to wait till you get in there to do it. You can pull things together and try to do it. Even like the thing when I talk about youth empowerment, I'm actually talking with some people about maybe trying to get it established before May. If anything, creating that sort of vision, because guess what? One of the things that I sense with politicians as well, leading up to an election, and even prospective leaders for different political parties, they come out with all these grand and these fantastic ideas and all these things they're going to do. And if they're not successful, guess what? It flops. Nothing come out of it. And you say, hang on a second, where was that vision? And they're not maybe anymore standing in an election again, because they just had wanted that particular seat to mobilize and to get themselves up there, so they don't have the longevity to stay there and to build. So you might lose it this year, but at the same time, you're living in the community and you can actually start to build. And that is what I sense a lot from politicians of today. There's not that longevity, there's not that substance, there's not that tenacity, there's not that intention to really want to build relationship. They just want to get in there because they see the excellence of power and the trappings of power and all those sort of things. And that's why people are just fed up with it. And guess what? When people are fed up with it, this is what happened. They don't vote. And then those who are really die-hearted will vote. And then you get the same persons in, wheeling the same hardship on the people. You see? That's it. It's happening in Jamaica right now. Yeah. Anyway, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. And that's it, guys. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's it. We can go on for another hour if you wanted to, but you're not letting us do that, are you?
well, one of the things that we're going to talk about some other time is about, and this is something big which is happening in Jamaica, is about the Cuban doctors, whereby there's I don't know if you follow, Gary, that there's something happening there where the Cuban doctors have been, I think America is not happy with it, and because of it, Jamaica is running with it. So therefore, it seems like Jamaica is run by America, Jamaica is the 53rd state. Is it 53rd state of America? Maybe.
Well, that has always been said. It just has to come to fruition, really. But just in the closing, still just closing. I think that we ought to. Again, I want to repeat this. don't watch what Trump says. Watch what he does. I think everybody's caught up by that. The whole world, when he was in negotiation with just before the war started, the whole world believed that there was going to be peace. The whole world thought there was going to be some kind of deal. And in the back of my mind, I said, don't watch that. Don't watch that. Trump is going to go to war. That's what Trump wanted. And so I think that I think we're missing a trick. The politicians are missing a trick. They're misreading all that Trump may be saying and may be doing. He does one thing with one hand, but on the other hand, he's doing something completely different. And I think that once the political animals out there understands that, I think that things would be a little better. Things would be a lot better, I believe. But Trump knows that he's got them exactly where he wants them. And so he's the one that's pulling the strings right now. He's the one pulling the strings. So we've got to understand what he's doing, you know.
Well, it's a pull that string and I do it for you. I'm your puppet. That's what the song goes. Aaron, have a good night, yeah?
Yeah,
Gary,
once again, Sylvan, an absolute pleasure, and thank you again for inviting me on. always a delight.
Okay, well let's get it going. And you know what? I'm just thinking in a way, maybe I should create some sort of course in effective representation or something like that. Maybe I should do a little book on it. If anything, my way, or you go on the highway or something like that. Is it, Gary? What is it? Aaron, we should do a little book like that or something like a booklet to
you could
show
do
the
that.
All right, guys, take care of yourself. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen. Bellin and everybody, those on TikTok, those on Facebook, those on YouTube, those who are going to be watching in the after I was going to say afterlife. They're watching, do like and share and subscribe. Peace out. God bless you. Bye bye. Thanks.